They didn't betray you. They showed you exactly who they were. And the painful truth is that the signs were always there. You just loved them too much to see it. Think about that for a moment. The person who hurt you most did not suddenly become someone different. They did not change overnight. They did not transform into a stranger while you were sleeping. What happened is far more confronting than that. The person who broke your trust was always that person. Every quiet red flag you explained away. Every moment of coldness you convinced yourself was stress. Every time they chose themselves, you told yourself they were just going through something. All of it was data. All of it was the real them showing up. And you, because you are the kind of person who believes in people, kept looking for a different explanation. That is not weakness. That is what it looks like to love someone genuinely. But it is also exactly how betrayal works. It does not arrive as a stranger. It arrives wearing the face of someone you trusted completely. Here is what psychology actually says about this. When we fall in love with someone, our brain does something remarkable and dangerous at the same time. It begins to fill in the gaps. Wherever there is uncertainty about who this person really is, wherever their behavior does not quite make sense, our brain automatically inserts the best possible interpretation. Psychologists call this the positivity bias in attachment. We do not see our partners as they are. We see them as we need them to be. We see the version of them that makes our investment feel worthwhile, the version that justifies how much we opened our hearts. And we hold on to that version with everything we have, even when reality keeps quietly contradicting it. This is why betrayal hurts in a way that nothing else does. It is not just the act itself that destroys you, it is the sudden collapse of an entire constructed reality. One moment you're living inside a story where this person is who you believed them to be. The next moment that story is gone. And you are standing in the wreckage trying to understand how the ground disappeared beneath you. But here is the truth that will change everything if you let it. The ground was never as solid as it felt. What collapsed was not reality. What collapsed was the story your love built around a person who was never quite who you imagined. The moment they did what they did was not the moment they became capable of it. They were always capable of it. The moment was simply when the conditions aligned in a way that made it happen. And that distinction matters more than you know right now. Because if they betrayed you, then you are a victim of something that was done to you. But if they revealed themselves to you, then you are now in possession of the most important information you could have about this person. You know who they are, really are. Not the version your hope constructed, not the version your love defended, the actual person. And knowing who someone actually is gives you something that being betrayed never can. It gives you clarity. Stop for a moment and think about every person in your life who has never disappointed you in this way. Every person who has shown up consistently, who told you the truth even when it was hard, who stayed when staying was inconvenient, who chose you not just when it was easy, but when it cost them something. Those people did not earn your trust because nothing bad ever happened. They earned it because over time their actions and their character aligned. Because who they were in private matched who they were in public. Because the person they showed you when you were watching was the same person they were when nobody was watching. The person who hurt you failed that test, not once, over and over. In small ways that you minimized and in large ways that you forgave before you should have. And the reason you are here now, sitting with this pain, is not because you were foolish. It is because you applied your own standard of integrity to someone who did not share it. You assumed that because you would never do what they did, they must be the same. That is a beautiful quality in a human being, and it is also the exact quality that people without integrity rely on in the people they hurt. Here is what you need to understand about yourself right now. The capacity you have for loyalty, for seeing the best in people, for staying when things get hard, for believing in someone even when the evidence is mixed. That capacity is not the problem. That capacity is one of the most valuable things about you. The problem was never that you loved too much or trusted too easily. The problem was that you invested those qualities in someone who was not equipped to honor them. That is not a reflection of your worth. That is a reflection of their limitations. And this is where the psychology of betrayal becomes the psychology of freedom. Because once you understand that what happened was a revelation and not a betrayal, the question changes entirely. The question is no longer, why did they do this to me? That question keeps you locked in their story, searching for an explanation that will make the pain make sense, waiting for an apology that will give you permission to heal. The real question, the question that leads somewhere, is what do I do now that I know the truth? What do I build now that I am no longer investing my energy in a version of this person that never existed? That question belongs entirely to you. They have no power over it. Their remorse or lack of it is irrelevant to it. Whether they ever understand what they did or feel the weight of it does not change what you are now free to do with what you know. Because knowing the truth about someone, even when that truth is painful, is always better than living inside a beautiful lie. The lie felt safer. The lie was warm and familiar. But the lie was also slowly stealing something from you that you may not have fully named yet. It was stealing your ability to see yourself clearly. When you are organized around protecting someone else's image, when your energy is going into explaining away their behavior and defending your choice to stay, you lose access to your own perception. You start to distrust what you feel. You start to second guess what you see. You start to wonder if the problem is you. And that, more than anything else they did, is the real damage. The revelation does not just show you who they are. It shows you who you have been in relation to them. It shows you the places where your self-worth got quietly negotiated downward. The moments where you accepted less because you were afraid that asking for more would cost you the relationship. The times you stayed silent about your own pain because you did not want to be difficult. The ways you made yourself smaller to fit inside a connection that was never actually big enough for who you are. And now that you can see all of that, now that the story has collapsed and the real picture is visible, you have a choice that you did not have before. You can rebuild, not the relationship, not the version of them you loved, but yourself, the version of you that exists outside of that story. The version that knows what you are worth because you have just lived through the clearest possible demonstration of what happens when you accept less. This is not a comfortable place to be. Nobody chooses this kind of clarity, but people who have been through it and come out the other side will tell you the same thing. The revelation, as brutal as it was the beginning of something that the lie could never have given them. It was the beginning of knowing themselves, really knowing, not the version shaped by someone else's needs and limitations, but the actual self. Clear and whole and finally facing in the right direction. They did not betray you. They showed you who they were. And now you know. And knowing, no matter how much it hurts right now, is always where real life begins.